Welcome back, everyone. I am happy to be back. I'm happy to bring you some more content. I know it's been forever. I apologize. Life has been a lot. School's been a lot. For some reason, after Thanksgiving, my teachers decided to start kicking my ass. But no need to worry. I'm back. I'm here to stay, especially with school winding down. I should be here to put out content pretty much every day. Maybe not every day, 4 or 5 times a week is what I'm hoping for. Really get pushing on that late season, off season content because when you take it as seriously as I do, the season's never really over. Research, strategy, all that type of shit never goes away. One more thing, I wanted to thank you guys for all the love on my recent videos. I haven't uploaded in like 3 weeks, and they're still doing really, really well. It's really encouraging to see that you guys enjoy it so much. So, huge shout out for that. And finally, getting on to what this video is actually about. We're going to be talking about some running back ads off the wire this week. Week 14, Week 15, Week 16 of fantasy football. We're getting to those playoff rounds. Hopefully you're in. If not, like me, better luck next year. Shit happens. But for those of you who are still in contention and are still playing for that money and those bragging rights, I have a few guys here for you today that I think that if you add them, they're not going to be probably league winners, not going to be slot in running back ones. But these are guys I think that can fill in that flex spot very admirably. And if you're in dire need, can definitely slot in as an RB2. A lot of worse options out there than what I think these guys can provide you coming up. All right, first guy on my list is JD McKissic. He's owned in 61% of ESPN leagues and 49% in Yahoo. Those are the two metrics I'm going to use. Those are the two platforms I play fantasy on. I know there's like Sleeper. I believe NFL.com actually has their own, but those are the two I'm going to go with. And sadly, it is seeming like the end of Antonio Gibson's season. Most likely has turf toe, and the thing with turf toe is that it is a massive bitch and can flare up at the smallest thing. So they pulled him from this week's game almost immediately, called him doubtful within 5 minutes, and I don't know if we see him back this year. Kind of a dead season, might be competing for a quarterback in the draft, might want to hold your best guys out, get them healthy for next year. With that, though, you have about 15 to 18 touches a week that have been opened up for J.D. McKissic and Peyton Barber. Barber's always going to get that work as a grinder. A lot of 4-yard carries, few goal line carries, not a lot, but he's going to be that guy that probably gets more of the running groundwork out of that. But McKissic is going to get you what we look for in half PPR and full PPR, that valuable air work. Throughout the season, he's already second in the league in targets, and that's a part of this weird kind of three-headed backfield monster. He has 78 on the year, second only to Alvin Kamara. He's also second in receptions with 56. So he's clearly held this value as the receiving back out of the backfield for the entire year, even with Gibson there, even with Barber starting to take over some touches. Doesn't matter. McKissic's getting his. Does not matter. Over the past 5 weeks, he's been the RB12 in half PPR, and that's with only getting 23 carries, by far the lowest out of any top 20 RB. I believe next highest was Naheem Hines, who had 36. McKissic's getting it done for you and doesn't need a ton of carries to get it done for you. It's honestly incredible, and if you're in standard, not super appealing, honestly. This is a guy I might stay away from, but I talk half PPR, nice little middle ground. I do full PPR in both of my leagues. Besides the point, McKissic is a guy who's getting valuable air work. His next 3 games are against the Niners, Hawks, and Panthers. In terms of allowing running backs to get receptions, the Niners are bottom 10, Hawks are bottom 14, and the Panthers are top 8. So 2 pretty easy matchups, one easier than the other, and one surprisingly hard matchup, although the Panthers have had struggles throughout the year stopping the running back. But nothing too bad, not a horrible schedule. He has no real target competition as well. It's him, Logan Thomas, and Terry McLaurin. We saw this week where Logan Thomas got a shit ton of targets against the Steelers defense that was supposed to be great against fantasy tight ends, is great against fantasy tight ends, but just didn't get done this week for them. And even with the presence of those guys, and when Gibson was still in the fold, no one was stopping McKissic from getting multiple 15-target games. A running back got multiple 15-target games. If I were to ask you before the season, tell me what running back you think would hit that feat, Alvin Kamara, maybe Dalvin Cook, you wouldn't have told me J.D. McKissic. He's flying incredibly under the radar with incredible production and incredible looks. Go pick him up. Like I said before, don't expect anything too crazy. Maybe not any RB1 numbers. He's been RB12. You might get something close to RB10, might creep up. Don't expect that, though. Going with lower expectations. Nice RB2. Great flex play moving forward for you. I just want to take a brief moment to make an interlude. If you are enjoying what you're hearing so far, leave a like and subscribe. If not, leave a dislike. Tell me why. I always want to improve. All right, back to the video. Second up on the list, we have Cam Akers, owned in 36% of leagues in ESPN, 53% of Yahoo leagues, and finally, it's what we've all been waiting for all year, a breakout game from Cam Akers. A lot of people, kind of including myself, were starting to sour on this guy because of disappointing season due to primarily poor usage when he was healthy and the lack of health. Had an injury that held him out for about 7 to 8 weeks, something you hate to see, especially in a rookie running back. They kind of need that time to get into it, get into the fold. Receivers, kind of different running backs need that time to gel and get used to the offense. He is slightly banged up with a neck injury, and that could impact him this week. But McVay came out about 2 hours ago and said he'd be good to go, full throttle. So I don't expect anything, especially moving forward the last 2 weeks of the playoffs, but maybe this first week against the Patriots, I wouldn't be super excited. What is really, really incredible, though, is that he got 68% of the carries this past week, 77% if you take Jared Goff out of the equation, but don't do that. He gets carries on a weekly basis. They're important. No other back has surpassed the 68% carry share since Henderson against the Niners week 6, where Akers was hurt. So when it was a two-back backfield, that was the only other time all season a guy got 20 carries. Also, he's the first back to surpass 20 carries. Henderson got 20 week 3, yet again where Akers was hurt, but he's the first guy to get over 20. I know they're real close, but it's a nice little statistic to see. Very high carry count for him. So hopefully, maybe, finally, Akers gets to assume his role as, got Amari Cooper playing and not being last place. Sorry for getting distracted. Hopefully, maybe just finally, Akers has assumed the alpha role, and the injury to Henderson could really, really help propel him forward. His upcoming schedule is Patriots, Seahawks, and Jets. In terms of points allowed to running backs in fantasy over the past 5 weeks, Pats are top 6, Seahawks are bottom 5, and Jets are top 9. Surprisingly, a pretty good defense against the run this year. I know 2 of those games aren't great, Pats and Jets, but the volume is there with that 21 carries. I think he had 2 or 3 receptions. He's going to be valuable considering he's getting that many touches. He also got 9 out of the 10 red zone looks for running backs, which is incredibly valuable work, and that's what you want to see. That's what separates guys like Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, who are both pretty valueless, but Zach Moss earlier on, when him and Singletary were both healthy, Moss's value was greater because he got so many more goal line red zone looks. So even with Brown healthy and Henderson possibly coming back, Akers getting all of those red zone looks is going to be really beneficial. Third on my list is Ty Johnson. He's owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. I didn't bother to check ESPN. Probably should have. Probably going to be close to 5%. Very low ownership numbers and kind of for good reason. Dude really didn't do anything outside of this week. But he was the first Jets rusher in I believe about 3 years to have a 100-yard rushing game. He's an esteemed Maryland alum. Averaged 7.4 yards a carry with us. Absolute stud. I honestly have no idea. Pretty good numbers though. But regardless, he had a really good game this week against the Raiders. 22 carries, 104 yards, 1 touchdown, and then 2 for 14 out of the backfield through the air. He's going to be the workhorse in this backfield, especially if Frank Gore does not clear concussion protocol. Gore got hurt, I think, within 5 minutes of the first quarter, and from there on out, this was Ty Johnson's backfield. He owned it, he made it his bitch, and he almost helped lead the Jets to one of the worst, most bittersweet wins I assume a franchise could have this year. And there's literally no other running backs in this backfield. Frank Gore, concussed. Lamical Pirine, stinks and dead. Le'Veon Bell got cut like 5 weeks ago. At this point, it has to be Ty Johnson. There's no other human in this backfield who can take touches. And when you're looking to get a guy off of waivers at such a valuable position, at such an important time in the season, the only thing you can really ask for is guaranteed volume. You get a guy with 15 touches a game, you're going to be happy. When you get a guy who has 25 touch upside like Ty Johnson might moving forward with an empty backfield and nobody but him to get those touches, it's a dream come true. Christmas has come early for you. In terms of his matchups coming up for the fantasy playoffs, you got Hawks, Rams, and Browns, who are bottom 5, middle of the pack, and top 7 in terms of fantasy points allowed to running backs over the past 5 weeks. These matchups scale in terms of difficulty. As we just saw, the Browns made Derrick Henry look like concussed Frank Gore. So I wouldn't be super enthusiastic about having to start this guy in the championship, but hopefully you don't need to. Hopefully it's a depth play. And even if Frank Gore comes back, I don't think that cuts into his touches. Earlier on when Lamichael, dude sucks, P. Ryan was starting to get touches. This coaching staff came out and said they're going to give him the ball a lot, let him rock, see what they have in their young players. Lost season, you might as well try and develop a guy, find a diamond in the rough. I don't see that changing here. Ty Johnson, another rookie running back. I think he's a rookie. Young guy, not going to waste carries on Frank Gore over him. Everyone knows what Frank Gore is. Not many people know what Ty Johnson is. You might as well ride him out these weeks, even if Gore's healthy, see what he can do. It'll be really beneficial for them, see what they have, and it'll be beneficial for us if we can pick him up off waivers because of that 25 touch ceiling. And the last, like, 4 people on my list, it's handcuffs. I mentioned them in my 7 tips to win the chip video, which you should watch if you haven't watched already. I think it's a really good video. But we're talking guys like Tony Pollard, Mike Davis, if for some reason he's still on your wire, but he probably isn't. So disregard that. Alexander Madison, Latavius Murray, all of these guys who are proven backups and in case of injury can step into that RB1 role on their teams and give you consistent production. It might not be great, as we've seen this year. Guys, when they fill in for their starter off of an injury or someone sitting, they're not going to give you lock and load RB1 value every week. I'll make a video on that maybe, talking about the issue with hoping that some of these guys are going to be top 5 running backs every week. It happened this past week with Devontae Booker stepping in for Josh Jacobs. Either way, they're guaranteed to get a nice workload every week. And like I said, at this point in the year, all you need is RB depth and guys that could possibly, maybe, in case of emergency, break glass, get you 20 touches a week. That's all you want. They can win you a championship in case of injury. If you're in the championship and the guy you're playing has Dalvin Cook and you just have Alexander Madison stashed on the bottom of your bench like a fucking gremlin and Cook gets hurt again for like the 3rd time this year, you have a guy that can not only fuck your opponent but also be put in your lineup as a very nice flex play depending on who else you have there, obviously. But guys like this are league winners like that twofold. Screw your opponent, gave you a good guy to play. There's really not much else to say about their individual production. Handcuff up if you can at this point. So to recap one time, I am picking up J.D. McKissic, Cam Akers, Ty Johnson, and handcuffs off the waiver wire this week at the RB position. And that is going to be it for the video this week, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said, it's great to be back. There's nothing I love more than just sitting down at 11 at night because I can't be too loud and making fantasy content to help you all out. Something I love. Hope you guys are loving it too. Should be back on track. Once again, thank you for all the love and support. Hopefully, you all haven't left. 1, because the video's been like 10 minutes long. 2, because it's been 3 weeks. But regardless, have a nice night. Let's get this chip. Peace out.